Alright, so without any further ado, the beginning of the garden starts with the strawberry patch, which I just reinforced this morning with some bird netting. I already caught a catbird. Had to untangle him and release him, but he's fine. Turn around and make our way to the patio, which is also the herb garden. It's one of our composting stations. You know, little flower bed right here. That's our one and only rooster. His name is Doodle. And here's where got one cherry tomato. I've got 3 different types of cherry tomatoes growing in this area. I couldn't tell you which one is which until they actually start forming fruit. Here's my basil. And this whole area is filled with these big plastic barrels, half whiskey barrels. And here I have a cherry tomato, and that rosemary was from last year. I actually had it in this bed, and it stayed alive. It did not freeze and die. And over here, another cherry tomato. This is sage. Over here, another cherry, and those are chives. Over here, another cherry, and that is thyme, English thyme. And lots of parsley. And over here we've got spearmint. I plan on making lots of tea. It's getting out of control, so what we've been doing is chopping it up and throwing excess into the chicken coop as a deodorizer. Here we have some dill. Needs water. And over here, I don't have the heart to pull this squash out, even though I probably should, and I will eventually, because it's going to take over. And this is not an area for squash. This is just my cherry tomatoes and herbs. In here, the shorter stuff is Greek oregano, and then the spiky taller stuff is spicy oregano. And these cherry tomatoes are looking fabulous. Where's that truss? Oh, here we go. Took a picture of this the other day. Look at all the flowers on that sucker. Alright, so let's go up the deck. And over here, you have a Quail Manor. It's seen better days, but there they are, some of them. My younger stock down below, they're hiding. Oh, there's some. They haven't started laying yet, but they will soon, probably about a week. These guys up top started laying about a week and a half ago. All blue eggs. Amazing. Here's my little fig tree. It's looking good. It's another fig tree I was gifted by the same person. Used to go to my parents' church. Not looking so well, but there's new growth. So we'll keep an eye on this one. I have a hard time throwing things out because you just never know. Make our way up to the main vegetable garden. Yes, I'm out of shape. That's me breathing heavy. In my defense, our yard is extremely sloped. And at the gate, we have a bunch of comfrey. This is actually really good food for chickens and whatever other farm animals you have. I actually have it growing up all along the other side, but you can't see them because the peas are growing up the fence. That's our little sign. Canyon is the street we live on. And on either side of the gate, I've got more plastic whiskey barrels with flowers and The tomatoes that are growing in the center are a nice yellow beefsteak type tomato called a Kellogg's Breakfast. And our little seating arrangement. I call this little area the foyer because it's just a nice little spot, a nice little place to sit and stare at the garden and the chickens if you don't want to go in and sit with the chickens. So start here. I have a lot of beets. This is my root area. So I've got, that's a sweet potato. And that's a sweet potato. And then all along here I've got golden beets. And then starting here I have some red beets, more sweet potatoes in between. This is all experimental. And then of course starting here and all along the fence I have snow peas. I need to pick these snow peas like crazy because there's so many of them. So many big ripe ones. I intend to freeze most of them. Of course, eat some fresh. We'll start with the rows. This row is a tomato called a Berkeley Pink Tie-Dye. And I got inspired to plant those from a YouTube channel called Roots and Refuge. Jessica Sauer, that's the name of her YouTube channel, and she recommended them. So I had to give them a try. These are an Amish variety of sweet pepper called Golden Treasure. And I'm looking forward to those. This is another Amish variety called a Aunt Sylvia's Low Acid Tomato. And I've never tried a low acid tomato. I couldn't even tell you like the taste difference between a low acid versus a high acid tomato. So I'm really looking forward to comparing these to regular tomatoes. I don't know. These guys are my Italian pepperoncinis. This is my squash row. That's why there's a little bit more space between those and everything else. These guys get nice and wide and big. They are a little close together, but everything's a little too close together, so it's just the faulty way I garden. But yeah, no flower. Well, take that back. Got some flowers. They just haven't opened up yet. I find the first few flowers on each squash plant generally don't open up and turn into fruit. So I won't hold my breath with that one. But you never know. This is my Listata Degandia eggplant. I probably butchered that name. It's a Spanish variety of eggplant. It's purple with white stripes. Really beautiful. I'm looking forward to lots of eggplant parmesan. These are my Tabasco peppers, and I have every intention and will most certainly do it. I want to make my own Tabasco sauce. I love me some hot sauce. These are Black Beauty tomatoes. I grew these last year, and they're so pretty. They're really dark purple. They actually get almost black on the shoulders where the sun hits them. And it's just such a fun addition to the mix of tomatoes. These are sheep nose pimento peppers. I plan on stuffing them with cheese and garlic and all sorts of good stuff. Maybe even pickling them, I don't know, we'll see. These are another Amish variety. These are called Claude Brown's Yellow Giant. And everything I've read boasts that they get anywhere from 1 to 3 pounds per tomato. So super excited about that. Cannot wait. I know I have at least 10 of them in this row. And this is my, oh, let's back up. I only have so much room. This is my row of beans. I've got burgundy bush beans and regular green, the Blue Lake variety of green bush beans. And all these rocks were rocks that we dug up from the garden. We live on the Piedmont side of the Appalachian Mountains, and our ground is just chock full of these little boulders. All right, as we're getting to the end, I've got cucumbers. I totally forget the variety, but we've got at least 2 different types of cucumbers. They love lots of good rich soil, so I figured, hey, right next to the compost, perfect. And just a quick look into the compost. We've got our first station, which is where this is where we put all of the nasty, like, chicken poop and quail poop from their coops. Throw it in here, let it sit and get hot for a couple weeks, and then we throw it into this station where it continues to break down, but it's not as hot. And then we throw it over here to rest, and then we put the stuff that's rested on top of the screen and into the plastic bin, which is totally coming apart, but it's time to replace it soon. Yeah, that's a quick view of the composting station. And of course the chickens. Can't leave out the chickens. There's my Buff Orpington wingnut. She was broody a couple weeks ago, but we broke her of that bad behavior, and she's back to the sweet big girl she is. Hey, babe. Someone's mowing their lawn off in the distance. Hey, girls. I'm sorry I don't have any treats. My presence is your treats. You're such good girls. They want nothing more than to get out of this run and into my garden to eat everything. Alright. This is my Banksy inspired coop art. And in here, oh man, it's so bright out here and so shaded in here. Alright. Phone died. I had to recharge it for a second. These are my new babies. I've got 2 sapphire gems, a partridge rock, that little dark brown one there in the back, and then a production red. That's Lucille. Oh my god, that is not yours. Get out of there, Goldie. Alright. And here concludes the 2020 garden tour. It got a rough start, but it's 2020, so. What else is new? There's my Jack Russell Venkman, sunbathing as he does. There's Roscoe over there in the shade as he does. All right. Well, thanks for walking through my garden with me. Time to have another cup of coffee.